I'll want to, take everybody's attention and point it towards the direction of the simple question in terms of what exactly is a profile. Now, one of the questions that I get a lot is, what do I need to do in order to build a good profile? Or essentially students thinking that there's some sort of a templated approach. And every school, in a way, in reality, if you think about a profile, essentially it's a representation of the potential for success that a student could bring to the school. See, every school, whether you're applying to a top-end Ivy or you're applying to a university that's mid-tier or even something that's slightly less ambitious as well, is just like you and me. We're all looking to rise up in life. We're all looking to maybe climb some kind of a ladder. And for a university, it would be the reputation and the kind of, I would say, maybe you could call it ranking, you could call it the kind of outreach that a certain university has. And there's one specific thing that builds a university, and that's probably the quality of the alumni. It's not really to do with, let's say, the great infrastructure and the wonderful faculty. Of course, those aspects contribute to the alumni. But what's really contributing to the kind of value that a certain university would be is the quality of alumni, the kind of individuals that are passed out. So if you look at it from a psychological point of view, what schools are really looking for is to understand your potential for success in going on to become a successful alumni. And all of these factors that we're actually discussing over here, be it standardized test scores or top-end extracurriculars, community service, whether you're cleaning the Ganges or whether you're cleaning, you're building houses in Mexico, whatever it is, you're actually showing your potential to go on and make an impact in the future. And you're trying to woo a certain audience of admissions members, tell them that I can make an impact and this is how I'm going to be contributing essentially while I'm at the school and while I'm passed out from the school to go on and do wonderful things. You need to push yourself away from thinking that the college applications process and the admissions process is all that high and mighty, and you also need to realize that at the end of the day there's humans in front. You can push yourself to a certain extent. From that end, I would say focus on what's in your control. A lot of individuals, they try to go on and take up, as Ajay mentioned, 12 different activities, 10, 12 different extracurriculars, and conversations that commonly range also amongst a lot of high school students is, okay, so you're doing like 10 activities, I'm doing 12, my resume should go on to 2 pages. How do I fit it into one single page when I've done so much? And for some reason, instead of focusing on the quality, it's all become a lot about the quantity. And candidates are tending to scratch the surface in a number of different areas rather than being authentic and, as just mentioned again, focusing on the things that they really like. I want to say that broadly speaking, I would also classify your SAT scores and your high school grades and let's say subject tests or your AP scores into the generic or broader sense of a profile. Whereas your academics and your standardized test scores come into the academic or the quantitative aspects in a way and give a good indication whether you fit the bill in terms of going on and achieving potential from a numbers point of view, whether you're somebody who could perform in the classroom. There's no doubt that academics and standardized testing is more looked at for rigorous courses such as engineering and medicine or any courses that demand high rigor. But at the same time, along with all of that, you need to be able to demonstrate interest. You need to be able to demonstrate a broader sense of understanding, and I would say more or less helping universities paint a picture or put a face to your application so that they're able to take better decisions. How do you build a profile? How do you, in a way, decide what it is that you want to take up and what it is that you want to do? Well, my suggestion to a lot of candidates is to basically end up working backwards. Rather than thinking about what's the next step you want to do, think about in the broad sense, and this is something you can do if you really start early. Think about what you'd want to do, let's say post college, and try to keep this as authentic as possible. Of course, what do you want to do, let's say 5 to 6 years down the line, and work backwards and think about what kind of skills could you potentially gain in order to go ahead and achieve that kind of a career in the future. If you're somebody who's looking to become an astronaut, then there's certain kinds of skills. If you're somebody who's looking to enter the field of medicine, or you're looking to become an entrepreneur, or whatever it is, there are certain different skills associated with different kinds of, I would say, job profiles or career opportunities in front of you. And what you really need to do post that is just focus on building those quantitative or qualitative skills that you have behind you. Be it through the extracurricular activities, be it through your summer schools, your awards, your honors, be it through online courses or language skills, learning different forms of languages, or taking up internships or work experience, or any form of community service also. What you essentially do is not take up 10 or 12 activities, but rather look at what you're interested in and what kind of activities would give you the right kind of skills to go on and become successful in whichever career you're trying to point out to the university, or whichever career you're genuinely trying to get into. So in order to be increasingly competitive in the college admissions process, instead of parents as well as students now focusing on building profiles which are extremely all-rounded, which is also a great thing, and that's a route that obviously still does work. Instead of just focusing on taking the most difficult classes, engaging in as many extracurricular activities as possible, getting as high grades and as high test scores as possible, that's something that's become baseline or benchmark. What admissions committees now are looking for is basically, in a way, high achievement experts. So if you have specific high achievement activities in very, very specific areas of interest, that's something that actually builds a stellar profile. What am I trying to actually get by telling you this? I'm trying to get across the message that profiles are not compared objectively. So it's not that if somebody has a stellar profile with 12 different activities and also has 2 areas in which they're highly, highly specialized, does that person necessarily stand out? Because you could have an applicant with very, or rather with a much lesser number of, I would say, initiatives within their portfolio. But at the same time, given the kind of opportunities that the person has, maybe they've come from an extremely difficult kind of a background or a difficult kind of a household, that individual could still stand out because the kind of adversity faced over there would be substantially higher. So you try focusing on not just talking about what you've done in order to put across a stellar profile, also try and talk about how you've identified certain, I would say, activities or certain opportunities for yourself to take up, how you've utilized the me time and the free time. Have you utilized your free time to better yourself as an individual in the long-term perspective of what you want to do in the future? Or have you done a lot of activities, but they've done, let's say, only during school? Maybe you haven't necessarily utilized your summer breaks properly, or maybe the summer break was more utilized towards going for some sort of vacation, or maybe doing something that wasn't necessarily very difficult or very rigorous, or something that could be considered to be a passion project or has an inclination with your long-term career goals. So to stand out, it's important to show in some way or the other that you've fought against some kind of odds. You have taken that extra bit of initiative. You've not just signed up for every club and society that's a part of your curriculum or part of your school, because that's the easy way out, right? That's just available in front of you. And show that you've gone above and beyond. Show that you've actually taken part in different kinds of things that are not available to you. And these experiences serve as great opportunities for character building. These experiences genuinely serve as opportunities for you to eventually go on and have wonderful, authentic stories that you could probably talk about when you're ultimately writing your essays, or when you're brainstorming about the different kinds of things that you want to get into?
So for everyone, what I would say, the three things that Michael has emphasized, right? Especially for top colleges, this is what going wrong when we see a lot of the students out there where they think if I check mark all this stuff and I participate, that's good enough. And it's not good enough, not because they're looking for someone who as a spy going to solve the Middle East problem or Ukraine-Russia problem. They are not expecting that. What they're looking, as Michael said, is your character of who you are, because that takes a student long way, irrespective of what they study in college, what they do, because someone who is that pusher and go-getter and someone who makes their path and way, irrespective of what environment they're given in, they will be successful irrespective of where they study, what they do, even after they graduate, to become that strong alumni that every college is going to be proud of, right? So this is what the most important piece is, what he has shared in terms of environment, what it was, how did you excel, and excel has to stand out, right? Especially for top colleges. Doesn't mean you solve something, but they're trying to get to know you, that you are the differentiated application that's going to make the difference in college when you get there, or after college when you graduate.